Hello, I'm Dodi with Do the Good Stuff, and this is my friend Ashley. We're in Telluride, Colorado, and we're going to show you a HIIT workout today, high intensity interval training. Please feel free to comment below. How are you using these videos? We're changing up the format a little bit today, so we'd like to know if you like the new format or if you like the old format better. What do you want to see more? Anything, just feel free to comment. Today we're going to do a warm up with the jump rope. I'm going to explain the workout plan to you. I'm really going to focus on showing form. Ashley's going to be doing all the movements and I'm just going to be instructing, and we'll do sort of a mini version of the workout. And then we'll do a few stretches and cool down. All right, well, let's get started. So, if you don't have a jump rope, I highly recommend that you go out and get one. Ashley's just going to jump rope normal for maybe 20 or 30 rotations. And then after she starts to get warmed up, she's going to add in some high knees as she's jump roping. After about 10 or 15 of those, then she's going to jump rope on one foot. And then after that leg gets good and tired, she'll switch it to the left. Too close. I swear, this is not my first time. Ropes are tricky. Alright, after you're feeling good and warmed up there, you can put the rope down like in a line on the floor. And do some forward and backward hops over the jump rope. Just to kind of warm your feet up, your legs up, your whole body. After 30 seconds or so, she'll turn and start jumping laterally. Keeping your feet tied together, try not to separate your feet and step over the rope. After about 30 seconds there, then she's going to turn back, facing forward, and do some fast feet drills over the ladder. So really fast. You can do some with your right foot leading, your left foot leading. And really it's your warm up, so you can take breaks wherever you want and start and stop as much as you want. And then, once you're feeling warm, you could either go through the whole thing again or just relax, take a break, and get started with the workout. So, let's take the jump rope out of the way. And so today's workout is 4 minutes with 4 different movements. So each movement you'll do for a minute a piece, and then you'll take about a minute to rest, and then you'll start it over again. So we're just going to show you what each movement looks like, and then we'll do really quick, like a mini version of the workout, and show you what an abbreviated minute would look like for each movement, and then the rest. And then we'll encourage you to go and do it on your own, depending on your level. So I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. So we're going to start with burpees. First, she's going to show you the version of the burpee where you drop all the way to the floor. So let's see. This is kind of your traditional burpee with a jump up and clap. Your chest always touches the floor, and you just jump up. Now, what you don't want to do is that negative of the push-up. So she kind of just let her body fall down on that burpee, but show them how you don't necessarily want to do the negative of the push-up. So you're going to make it really tough for yourself if you're lowering yourself down in a push-up. So just kind of let your body go down to the floor and come back up. Awesome. If that version of the burpee is too challenging for you, then try we call it a modified or a plank style burpee. So you go down into a plank and then you stand up and clap. Down into a plank, stand up and clap. Okay? So that way you don't have to get your chest all the way down to the floor. So either version of those is fine for your burpees. So you'll do 1 full minute just of burpees. Once you're done with that, we'll start doing sit-ups. So Ashley's going to show you a couple different versions of sit-ups that you can do today. So one is with your feet butterfly to engage your upper and lower abdominals, and you sit up nice and tall at the top. Okay? Then she's going to show you what a little bit more challenging version is, a tuck up. So she's going to go back to touch her shoulder blades and bring her knees into her chest as she sits up. That's a tuck up. You can do that. Or if you prefer, you can do leg raises. These are really safe. You keep your hands under your hips and just raise your hips up at the top. If that's too challenging, you can just raise your legs without popping your hips there at the top. So you want to try and keep your legs as straight as you can. So a minute of any of those versions of sit-ups is what comes next. Then you'll turn yourself over and do push-ups. So I also instruct a boot camp, and we're focusing this session really on doing push-ups well. So notice Ashley has her shoulders right over her wrists. Her shoulders, hips, and knees are all in perfect alignment. She's going to tuck her elbows in and go down to where just her chest touches and nothing else. And I know a traditional push-up is challenging for a lot of people, so what we've been working on is just the negative of the movement. So she'll go down, then just drop her knees and come back up. So she'll go down on her toes, drop her knees, and come back up. Notice that her hips are still not touching the floor, and her core and glutes are still engaged through the whole movement. This will help you to get to where you can do the push-ups from your knees more quickly, okay? So if you need to do the version where you do use your knees, that's fine, but try and get in a few reps with the negative from your toes, and that'll help you get stronger. All right, so that's the third minute, and then finally we have squats. So I have a stool here today. When you're doing a squat, you want to get to the depth of where your hip is slightly below your knees, okay? So she's going to go down right to where she touches the stool and then come right back up. Now, when you're standing, you want to make sure your hip's fully open, and she's going to be focusing on sort of like screwing her feet into the floor so that she's engaging your glutes. If you stand this way and kind of turn your knees outward, you will feel your lower posterior chain activate. So she's going to be doing that the entire time she's squatting. Also, a lot of us, because we have flexibility and mobility issues, we tend to drop our shoulders at the bottom of a squat. So a good fix for that is raising your arms up. You can raise them up at the bottom of the movement, or you can keep them up through the entire movement. But that's going to help you keep your shoulders pinned back. So that's your fourth minute. So I'm going to show you a mini version of what this workout will look like, and then we'll do a few stretches to cool down, and then I'm going to send you out to do it on your own. Okay, so let's start with burpees. Ready? This is your first minute. So she's doing the burpee with her chest all the way down, jumping up and clap. Okay, minute's up. So now, let's go to sit-ups. So you're going to get on your mat, pick your version you want to do. Traditional sit-up is fine, butterfly your feet. If you want to throw some tuck-ups in there or some leg raises, that's great. And your second minute is done. Don't you wish a minute was that hard and fast when you're working out? So then flip it over and go into push-ups. So you're going to, throughout these minutes, you're going to try and get in as many reps as you possibly can. So you can go from your knees, if you've got those push-ups from your toes, go from your toes. Or work on your negative, just like that. All right, the third minute is up. So now we're going to our fourth minute, and we're going straight to squats. So she's really pressing her knees out, activating her lower posterior chain, and she's squatting every time where her hips get below her knees. She's adding her arms elevated to keep her chest nice and tall. And rest. Okay, so you've been through one round. So now you're going to time yourself for a minute so that all you do is rest. So catch your breath, get a sip of water. And what I would recommend is if you are a beginner to working out, I would do 2 rounds, maybe 3 if you're feeling ambitious. If you're intermediate, you might want to get in 4 rounds, maybe even 5. If you're an advanced athlete, then I would do 5 or more rounds, as many as you like. So that's the workout for today. So for cool downs, I would do 3 or 4 quick stretches. So actually Ashley's going to show you a good lunge stretch, or actually we can do this together. So you're going to go down into a runner's lunge, open up your hip, put your hand down. You can hang out here if you like, just make sure your knee is right over your ankle. If you prefer, you can add that twist. And I like to try and hold all my stretches for about 3 or 4 deep breaths. So once you've gotten 3 or 4 deep breaths on this side, just change out your feet. And you can hang out here, and if you added the twist on the left side, add it again on the right. All right, after 3 or 4 deep breaths, we're going to stand and do a nice hamstring stretch. So kind of put your ankle out in front of your foot and sort of send your hips back so that you press into that hamstring. If it feels good, you can point your toe and flex again. 3 or 4 deep breaths here. And switch to the other side. Really focus on pressing your hip as far away from your ankle as you can. And then we're going to do a standing quad stretch. So if you have on shoes, you'll grab right where your shoestrings would be. Press your hip forward. Really feel that in your quad. 3 or 4 breaths on that side. Again on the other side. And then finally, my favorite stretch is just a forward fold. So you want to fit your feet out a little bit wider than hip distance apart and just hang down. And let your head and neck hang and roll. After 3 or 4 deep breaths, light bend in your knees and roll your spine up. If anybody's working out with you, give them a high five. Tell them good job, good job. And again, so this workout you can modify depending on what level you are in. Like I said, 2 to 3 rounds if you're in the beginner range, all the way up to 5 rounds if you're feeling super strong. So don't forget to post those questions. Tell us how you're using these videos, the format that you prefer. Sign up for Do the Good Stuff Weekly. They're about to give away some free swag. How do you say that? Little birdie told me. So make sure you sign up. Join us for HIIT yoga on Mondays and more HIIT on Thursdays. And remember, before you do the good stuff, you gotta know you are the good stuff.